other day when I was sitting in here. All these Batman's ears are in different positions.
Oh,
Do you prefer Batman when his ears are situated all the way in the back of his head like Christian Bale, or when they're in the middle and they line up above his ear?
kind of like the middle.
I do too.
Yeah.
But it's funny because like animated, it's way back there, and then this one's way back there, right in the middle, right in the middle, right in the middle.
Yeah, I kind of don't like it when it's like too perfect.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
All right. Holy cats, we are back. Wow, my
Ooh.
throat.
You want to give that another take?
Yeah. Holy cats, we are back. Welcome back to Become a Bat podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Mike,
And I'm Tom.
and today we're going to be discussing Batman number 4, story number 2, Blackbeard's Crew and the Yacht Society, and Detective Comics number 50, The Three Devils.
The Case of the Three Devils.
The case of the Three Devils. You can't forget the case part because that makes it seem like an actual detective story.
Exactly.
Yeah. Although, was there that much detecting in that one?
There's more detectiving in the Batman this time, I think. No, actually, no, there wasn't.
I feel like neither of them really had that
Yeah,
much.
no.
They were
So-
just both kind of fun romps.
Sometimes I feel like the Detective Comics moniker is like just like a holdover.
It is, you know? like-
Yeah, because it's like we've been doing this for a little bit now, and then like I'll do the Detective Comics issue, and it's a pretty straightforward, rogues gallery story,
Yeah.
and then you'll do the Batman, and then that's like a full blown mystery where like people are putting the pieces together and doing that. So
I really do think they just keep the title because the rest of the stories in the book are detective stories, but
Yeah.
Batman is a full-blown, like,
yeah,
superhero story.
at this point for sure. I wonder how long until they're gonna drop all of the backup issues. Like they're not even pretending that like no anyone else is the star of Detective Comics at this point.
That'll be interesting. And I do
Yeah.
check, like, I read most of these on the DC Infinite app, but I do check them online, like those really low-quality scans,
Mhm.
to look for, like, cool ads to pull out, in case
Oh,
there's
yeah.
anything. And also just to see, like, if any of the backup stories have dropped off yet, which they have not.
Not that they're well, I don't know if they're good or bad. I just haven't read them yet, but
Some of them are fun, and some are kind of boring, but
yeah, I'm interested in reading Slam Bradley sometime.
that's the more interesting one. All right, so do you want to get into Batman number 4, story number 2?
Let's do it. All right. So this is Batman number 4, story 2, Blackbeard's Crew and the Yacht Society. Art by Bob Kane, Jerry Robinson, George Russos. Written by Bill Finger.
I'm going to read your splash page here. This is going to be a tough one.
It's very compressed in there.
Yeah, I had to zoom in very far. This is a story of bold pirates and the Batman and Robin. Impossible, you say? Batman and Robin are of the present. Pirates are of the past. Yet here it is, a story of flashing steel, savage fighting, swashbuckling pirates, buccaneers met by the thundering fists of the dynamic duo. Here it is, all contained in the strange tale called Blackbeard's Crew and the Yacht Society.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
That was really good. The issue begins with Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson in the morning practicing their fencing skills. Very thematic.
I know.
So, meanwhile, an unrelated group of rich socialites beginning their annual yacht club trip. A couple of cops, like they're watching, this yacht go off, and then they joke about how the yacht is a prime target for pirates.
I like how they say that these rich people just go on this yacht trip and they all wear their most expensive jewelry and clothes to try to brag in front of each other.
Yeah, if you're going to go out in the middle of nowhere with all your most expensive stuff, having a wide ocean just be a barrier is a pretty decent idea. But this is the ocean outside of Manhattan.
Yeah.
We're still in Manhattan. This comic's been going on since 1939. We're in 1942, I think, right now. Oh, I forget to put in the publication dates. Oh, well, anyway.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, we're in like 1942, still no Gotham City.
I half expected it to be Gotham City in one of these issues because of the way they were like describing the city. But no, they just called it the city.
The city. All right, well, it'll be Gotham soon, I'm sure. The yacht club, they're out to sea, and suddenly a pirate ship comes out of nowhere, and pirates board the yacht. They storm the captain's quarters and kill him. They bring all the people on deck, and they strip them of their valuables. The pirate captain tells them that he intends to bring everyone on his ship and hold them for ransom. A pirate searching around catches somebody in the wireless room, and he's like sending out a message out to the police, and he gets one out just in time. Word makes its way to Bruce and Dick, so they costume up and they get on the bat plane. So Bruce lands the plane nearby and they sneak onto the pirate ship. They're eventually spotted and the pirates run at them with their swords drawn. Batman and Robin, they have a tussle with the pirates, but they're eventually overwhelmed and captured. The captain makes Robin walk the plank as Batman helplessly watches. Robin falls in the water and Batman breaks free and he jumps in. A tiger shark is swimming by and is about to eat Robin, but Batman takes out like a small knife and he stabs the shark and he rescues Robin.
He guts that thing.
The pirates, they see the blood rising to the water and they assume that it's Batman and Robin's blood. Batman and Robin use this opportunity to sneak back onto the ship, and they get into the room where the yacht club members are being held. Batman comes up with a plan to distract the pirates while two of the yacht club members gather weapons. So Robin gets the attention of some of the pirates and he starts a sword fight with them. Batman jumps in and he joins him. Robin runs up and swings up to the mast, cuts it, and it captures some pirates down below. Batman throws a barrel of water at some pirates, and eventually this catches the attention of the pirate captain, who has a duel with the Dark Knight. They clash, and Batman trips on a knife that's on the floor. The captain goes in for the kill, but Batman pushes him off with his foot, and he gets up. He knocks the sword out of the captain's hand, and he punches him in the face. The two yacht club volunteers gather up the pirates. Batman takes the captain's beard off and finds out that it's Thatch, a famous gangster. Thatch had heard about the yacht club's annual trip, bought an old pirate's boat, got some costumes, and he planned to rob the yacht club during their annual trip that year. Batman and Robin fly away, a job well done. The end.
What a good plan, I guess. Dress up like a pirate, buy an old pirate ship, and rob people.
You always mentioned Scooby-Doo connection, and
Yet another one.
that was a Scooby-Doo ass plot.
Yeah, no kidding. Man, I like pirates. It's cool to see pirates in Batman. They're not really pirates, though. They're kind of just like gangsters dressed like pirates.
Yeah, they're cosplaying as pirates.
I'm surprised they even stood any chance whatsoever sword fighting against Batman and Robin because they're just gangsters. They don't use swords. They use guns.
They might have outnumbered Batman and Robin to be able to capture them, but Batman and Robin have fought far greater numbers before and did fine. But I think maybe they were disadvantaged because the ship is so small.
That's possible. They've also fought vampires and giants and stuff like that too.
One was a dream.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh wait, no.
But they did fight the other giants.
Batman has fought actual. Yeah, he fought the Monster Men. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, the giants, the orange giants, were a dream.
Yeah. This was a fun issue. I left some of the drama out in there. They did personalize some of the yacht club members. There's a little plot with a couple of them trying to win the affection of a woman. There was a bankrupt guy who's learning to get his mojo back. And my favorite one was the secretary, a guy named Stanley, telling his boss off for being such a coward when Batman was looking for volunteers. That was great. That's one of my panels we'll get to.
You know what all that reminded me of? It reminded me of Clue, the board game, and also sort of Agatha Christie, Murder on the Orient Express, because you have all these people on board and they all have these distinct personalities and problems going on in their lives.
Yeah,
but they're not really what's important.
I mean, if anything, though, if I would make any change to this, though, it's not that they needed to set up Thatch.
They should have.
They should have. Oh, of course, it's Thatch. Who's Thatch? He's only important for the last two battles.
It could have been super easy. They still quite haven't found a way to pare the writing down in a lot of these stories. But they could have started with Batman and Robin watching TV, or the TV could have been playing, the radio could have been playing in the background while they were dueling. And it could have been famous gangster Thatch, blah, 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 strikes again.
Or they could have, as I was thinking earlier, they could have set out that one of the yacht club members was actually the captain, the pirate captain, or he's.
I thought they were going to do that, actually.
It seemed like they were setting up the bankrupt guy,
the washed up fighter.
No. See, that's what you might have thought. I was thinking the one that went bankrupt. He knew he was losing his money, so he used the last of his money to buy the pirate ship and hire a bunch of goons to rob everybody.
I got the impression though that he was a fighter that used to fight for a living from some of the dialogue that was in the issue.
Maybe I'm just misremembering.
Maybe that's where his money came from, was boxing or something.
Yeah.
Let's see here. My thoughts. So yet another villain that's a normal guy masquerading as a historical figure. I mean, he doesn't think he is this guy, but he's still dressing like him and acting like him.
Was Blackbeard a real dude?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Me and my girlfriend just finished watching Our Flag Means Death
Nice.
on HBO. It's really good.
Yeah, he was a real pirate, but it's one of those situations, kind of like with Batman too, even though Batman's not real, where he's real, but people don't know because not many people have seen him, so he becomes a urban legend type of.
Yeah, he's so mythologized.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like there's not a lot to say about this issue. It's very straightforward. It's kind of
Yeah.
more of like a murder mystery minus the murder, although there is some murder in it.
The yacht captain dies.
That was hilarious, by the way. There's a lot of funny murder in this issue, I guess. There's a lot of foreshadowing, though, in the beginning, and it's really obvious because, like, you're looking at the splash page, and it shows them fighting pirates with swords, and then it shows that little panel in the corner where Bruce and Dick are, like, training with swords,
Mhm.
and then Dick's like, why are we fighting with swords? This is so pointless.
Yeah.
It's like, you say that now. But also the dock patrol workers joking about how ridiculous it would be to see pirates in the 20th century.
Mm-hmm.
That was funny stuff. Also, all the fights in this issue are a lot more dynamic. They're a lot easier to tell what's going on, which is surprising because there's so much going on. There's so many people fighting at the same time. It felt a lot like the 60s Batman TV show because you have like 6 or 7 people fighting,
Mm-hmm.
but you can clearly tell what everybody's doing in the moment of each panel.
Yeah.
You know?
It was a breezy issue.
Yeah, it went by really fast, unlike the next one. I like how it shows them dealing with each individual thug. One gets knocked into the other, or like take one down, go straight into the next one. I thought that was cool instead of leaving it to your imagination. I'm assuming that whoever wrote this issue, well, who was the writer in this issue? I forget.
I think it was
So there's still Bill Finger.
Yeah, Bill Finger.
Yeah, so obviously Bill Finger's a fan of like slapstick comedy. We
Mhm.
kind of talked about that once before in a previous episode, but all the fights in this one are very slapstick, like the way that they're tossing people around and the things they're saying when they're hitting people.
Yeah.
Let's get into these panels.
Yeah.
I picked a moody panel, a couple moody panels. The first one I picked is just the ship, the pirate ship, coming out of the night sky. It's such a cool image. It's got this bright orange moon behind it, and it looks almost like it's raining or like really windy in the
Yeah.
background.
Yeah, usually Gotham is portrayed as like that orange or red sky, but like this
Yeah.
purple really works for it.
Purple sky, dark blue water, and an orange moon. And then it says, suddenly out of the murky mist, the ghostly form of a schooner sails majestically on the horizon. A black flag waves defiantly, proclaiming it to be a pirate ship. I thought that was cool. And then the next one I picked, did you notice this too? So it's the bat plane, but the bat plane, as it lands in the water, he pushes a button and it turns into a boat.
Huh. Yeah, I was wondering
Exactly
about that earlier.
like All-Star Batman and Robin, when Frank Miller has the Batmobile turn into a bat plane, turn into a bat boat.
It's pretty smart.
So Frank Miller ain't so original after all.
Pretty ahead of its time too. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's also super efficient because you're like, I'm sure when they were writing this was like, we haven't established that it could just land in the middle of the ocean,
Yeah.
and now like, yeah, it turns into a boat.
Yep. I picked this panel right here too. Then we'll get into yours after this one.
Yeah.
But I just love this one. The door opens and there's 3 pirates standing out there, and then there's 2 guys in there. There's the captain and like his right hand man, and his right hand man's like, "What? Pirates? Pirates?" And then the captain's like, "Pirates? Why, it must be a masquerade party." And then it cuts to like the silhouette shot of a pirate freaking stabbing the guy. And the pirate's like, "Not exactly, matey. Not exactly." It's really dark, but it's really funny.
Yeah, I wonder if they were forced to make it a silhouette or was it just an artistic choice?
I don't know, but it works. All right, and then this one's yours.
Just a super adventurous, fun panel of Batman swinging by with a sword in his hand, and he's fighting some pirates. He's got, wow, it's actually really good aim.
Yeah.
2 of the pirates, he's got his like his feet like under their chins, kicking them, but like really good aim.
See, this is what I'm talking about. Comedic timing with the fighting. Like he's kicking 2 of them in the face at the same time, one with each foot. And then the one he's kicking with his left foot is butting heads with another one behind him.
Yeah. And then you got Robin there in the back. He's gonna upswing one of the pirates.
Yeah, he upswung and the guy tried to block it and he's losing his sword. It's flying out of his hand. And then the guy in the foreground, Batman, must have done the same thing to him because he's dropping his sword. Everybody in the scene is being dealt with simultaneously. Good stuff.
Next,
I had to pick the panels with Batman and the Shark.
oh yeah,
I
yeah.
had to.
No, that's excellent.
Like the first one is just like Robin like plummeting like head first underwater, and Batman, you can tell he just literally dove in and he's already got the knife in his hand. Like he just knew there was going to be a shark there. There's no doubt in his mind.
I kind of just assumed, yeah, you know what? Yeah, he probably, well, it might not even assume that. He just needed to cut Robin's,
That's true. He could just be, he just,
yeah,
pulled
just
the knife.
prepared it. Yeah. That's what
But-
I would assume.
But
But
yeah, he like dove in immediately, already had the knife in hand, and then he just somehow like swims under the shark, stabs it in the gut, and then just like slides the knife all the way up to its chin, gutting the thing. And then meanwhile, Robin's like,
Still
and he's
falling
sinking
down.
further and further down.
Let's see, the next one I picked. Okay, last two ones for this one.
But also said that he went
Oh.
berserk in that panel, just like the other 2 times, like when Robin thought Batman is dead and Batman thought that Robin was dead.
Yeah, you're right.
Each time it says they go berserk.
Yeah, that's like the one thing so far we've seen that'll piss Batman the most off is harming Robin.
Yeah. It's like, only I can put him in harm's way.
First one is Batman and the pirate captain clashing swords. It's a basic panel, but come on, you gotta love it.
Yeah.
Let's see. You'll eat my naked steel yet.
It sounds so dirty.
Sorry, but it's not on my diet. Classic.
Yep.
And then the last panel that I chose.
Didn't he say, sorry, but it's not on my diet or something like that in the previous issue when somebody tried to shoot him?
I think there was something like that. I think it was with McGonagall.
Yeah, my
Something like, no thanks, I don't go to jail or something very similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a very similar quip. The last panel is Stanley, the secretary for one of the yacht club members, and this was after Batman asked for volunteers to like gather up the pirates, pull up weapons, and Stanley, he's like earlier in the issue, he's like portrayed as like this kind of like cowardly, meek little dude, but finally he like stands up because his boss is being like super cowardly. He's yelling at his boss saying, "For 10 years now, you've ordered me around. Now I'm going to tell you what to do. If you don't shut up, I'm going to slap you silly. Now shut up."
I thought that was great. And then like the very last panel of the issue is his boss being like, I respect you. Here, have a cigar.
Yes.
Like,
he
all
got a raise, maybe partnership.
yeah.
Yeah, that's, you got to wonder what's going on in that business relationship there.
Right. He's just his secretary. Like, come
Yeah.
on, you don't have to be so mean.
Also, slap you silly. That every time I hear that, I'm reminded of Home Alone 2.
Get out of here, you nosy little pervert, or I'm gonna slap you silly!
All right. And we are on to Detective Comics number 50. You want
All
to
right.
take a quick break?
Yeah, we're gonna take a quick break and then get to the next issue. And we are back.
That's right.
Okay, so we're gonna tackle Detective Comics number 50.
That is The Case of the Three Devils. Art by Bob Kane, Jerry Robinson, and George Russo's. Written by Bill Finger. That hasn't changed in a long time.
No, I don't know. Do you know when it changes? Like,
Nope. It's going to be a surprise. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Now.
like I don't want to go too far ahead. Just like, I'm really tempted to just keep reading, but
Oh, me too.
like, I like having to be a surprise.
I have been reading random Batman comics like that are in like the 70s and 60s, just
Yeah.
like one-offs, but I don't want to skip ahead on this yet.
Yeah, I'm sure like I'll read a lot of I've been doing a little bit of that too, and hopefully I'll forget some of the more a lot of the stuff by the time we get to them.
You want to describe the cover on this one, or do you want me to do it?
Yeah. Let me get the cover here. So this is a cover where Batman is walking a tightrope across two rooftops. The tightrope is tied between two chimneys, and on one side, on one of the rooftops, is a couple gangsters, and one of them was cutting the rope. He was in the process of cutting the rope, but Robin was on the other side, using his trusty slingshot to stop the fiends, while Batman safely gets to the other side.
It looks like he hit both of those guys with the balls at the same time. Like he looked
Yeah.
at 2 balls and was like, "Bing."
Yeah, because there's no way, it doesn't even imply that Batman was able to hit any of them. He's tightrope walking.
Yep.
Nice that the cover showing Robin saving Batman. Like he's the one.
I agree. It's usually the other way around.
Yeah.
And I think Robin's a badass, especially in these old comics, especially in the Adam West TV show. But I like this pose a lot too.
Yeah.
Like it's very dramatic. Like the motion lines of him like spinning around his arm to chuck that thing, and then like the sling itself in the bottom right-hand corner, like seeing it come in unfurled, like you let go of the other end. It's really well thought out.
And he's using his trusty slingshot. They don't do it all in modern like interpretations of Robin.
Someone needs to bring that back.
Yeah, like I. It's been a long time since I read Dark Victory. Like, did he have that in Dark Victory?
I don't think he did. I could
Huh.
be wrong. I mean, we'd have to look it up later.
Yeah, I haven't read in forever, so I'm due for a reread.
Yeah, that would be a good one to reread because that is like perfect golden age young Robin. All right, you get to read this one too, unless you don't want to, and then I'll do it.
All right, I will give it a crack. All right, so this is the intro splash page to the case of the Three Devils. To many people, the Batman is a being of mystery, an eerie power. Yet he is a man who has developed his brain and his muscular frame to the highest degree, a living being of darkness. He comes and he goes unseen, his aim in life, the blotting out of all crime. Assisting Batman is that phenomenal boy wonder, Robin. It is these two who will solve and mete out justice in the case of the Three Devils.
When I read that one, I totally read it like 300, or the blotting out of crime, like when the guy says that our arrows will blot out the sun.
I really liked a living being of the darkness.
A living being of darkness. This is one of my favorite ones so far. I screenshotted it and saved it on my phone because I really like it.
Yeah,
I think it's a really good way to describe Batman and Robin, even if you cut out the bottom that says the case of the Three Devils.
I wonder if they intended that the brain and frame to rhyme.
Probably. Also, look who's silhouetted by the moon. I guess he's not silhouetted, but look who's surrounded by the moon in this splash page.
Robin.
Not Batman. Robin gets the spotlight in both of these.
Yeah.
On to the synopsis. One night, one still night, as Batman and Robin are ghosting over rooftops, they spy three bizarre figures garbed in all red with horns like the devil. Without a moment's hesitation, the dynamic duo swings down to do battle with these devils. Batman starts swinging at one while he grabs the second one by the throat. The boy wonder swings in to aid his friend, but the third devil grabs him from behind and delivers a crushing knee to his face. Robin hits the ground out cold. The devil then sprints over to Batman and pistol whips him in the back of the head. In a daze, the Cape Crusader lets go of the other two devils, and the three of them together make a hasty escape. Batman and Robin get to their feet and run to the edge of the rooftop to attempt to pursue the three devils, but the devils are highly skilled acrobats and they swing their way to an adjacent rooftop and disappear into the night. Over the next couple of weeks, the three devils commit crime after crime. At Wayne Manor, our heroes pore over the articles. Bruce asks Dick what he thinks the devils are doing with the jewels that they are stealing. Dick says that they must be selling them, but not to jewelry stores because that would be too sketchy. Bruce tells him that he's right. They must be selling them to a fence, someone who can break them up into smaller jewels and sell them that way to avoid suspicion.
At this point, I think Robin knows who a fence is, but the audience might have forgotten.
I think it's Robin's like the voice of the audience. He also states that there are only two fences in the city big enough to handle it. The two don mantles of Batman and Robin and decide to head off to the first of the two fences. Batman tells Robin to be sure to pack the new rocket skates that they just developed. As night falls, the costumed crime fighters perch on the corner of high rooftops and survey the fences. Night after night passes with no luck, but then suddenly they spot the three devils making their way towards Frankie the Fence's place. As Frankie examines the jewels that the devils brought him, Batman and Robin watch from the darkness. Once the moment is right, they launch themselves at the group of criminals, and fits start flying. Batman takes on the three devils while Robin jumps over the desk and goes for a stranglehold on Frankie the Fence. Frankie yells out for help, and then three well-armed guards burst through the door. The first guard recklessly hurls himself at Batman. The Dark Knight quickly ducks and sends the guard headfirst into a wall. Then he kicks the second guard into the third and uses him as a springboard to jump up and grab hold of an overhead lamp. He swings from the lamp and kicks the guard into the three devils. Total chaos ensues as the dynamic duo go to town on a room full of criminals. Sensing an opportunity, Frankie the Fence pulls a knife and lunges at Batman. Robin sees it from across the room and chucks a huge hardcover book at Frankie's head, causing him to drop the knife. One of the devils gets to his feet and pulls his gun and fires a shot off at Batman. Our boy in blue ducks to avoid the bullet, but in doing so, he hits his head on the corner of a table. The criminals panic, knowing that the gunshot will get the attention of the police. They flee the scene, leaving Batman unconscious on the ground. They pile into a car and take off. Robin pursues the devils with his new rocket skates. Quite exciting. Meanwhile, Batman struggles to stand up and regain his composure. As he rights himself, he sees a man in a blue uniform come into the room with a gun. It's Officer Riley, and luckily, he's a fan of Batman, so he lets him escape, but he asks him to punch him in the face first to make it believable, so when the other cops show up, they'll believe it, I guess. Batman happily obliges. Do you remember what he says there? Because it was pretty funny.
It's in one of my panels, so we'll get there.
So funny. Robin's rocket skates are extremely effective. He ends up tailing the three devils all the way to the other side of town and down into an abandoned subway tunnel. Unfortunately for our hero, he follows them a little too closely, and as they turn the corner, and ends up getting a pistol whip to the head, just like Batman. The three devils debate whether or not to kill him, but they end up just throwing the body into the subway tracks, so that his death will look like an accident. As the boy wonder slowly regains consciousness, he feels the subway tracks start to vibrate. He looks up and sees a train coming towards him fast. He realizes that he doesn't have enough time to get out of the way, so he does the only thing he can. He makes himself as flat as he can and lies right down in between the tracks in hopes that the train will pass over him safely. Not unlike what Batman did when he almost got hit by a car in The Return of Clayface.
And the Lambert, the wolf.
Yes. See, another recurring thing. Robin got really lucky and the train passes overhead, leaving him unscratched. Then he races home to find Bruce and fill him in on everything. The following night, the masked vigilantes return to the underground hideout of the Three Devils, but those rascally devils are nowhere to be found. Instead, Batman finds a scrapbook containing newspaper clippings about acrobats, and he finally puts together that the Three Devils are in fact ex-Daredevil circus acrobats. Robin picks up a newspaper and sees that there is an article about a jewelry show on the top floor of the state capitol building, and the Devils have underlined it. There's not a moment to lose. Batman and Robin take off for the Capitol building. Later that night, across town, the Three Devils are on top of that building, getting ready to make their move on the jewels, when out of nowhere comes Batman and Robin. They trade blows with their foes, until one of them lands a vicious punch on Robin. Then he topples backwards and falls off the top of the building. It seems like it's all over for the boy wonder, but as he's falling, his cape is caught on the hands of a giant clock. Batman makes a desperate leap to the bell tower to try to help his ward before the cape tears through, but those damn devils follow him and force him back into a fight. One of the devils breaks off from the fight and walks over to the edge of the tower, where he leans over and pulls a gun and aims at the helpless sidekick. Robin hears and sees the devil and reacts quickly. He pulls his sling and fires a metal ball right into the devil's forehead. As the devil cries out in pain, the clock strikes 9 p.m. and the gigantic bell begins to ring. Batman leaps for the bell and uses the centrifugal force of its swing to deliver some sickening blows to the remaining two devils and send them toppling down the stairs to the floor below. Batman hurries to the edge of the tower, uses his bat rope to pull Robin back up to safety. Robin says that they should have stayed in the circus, and Batman comments about how some people just want to do things the hard way. They could have made a steady income as acrobats, but crime doesn't pay. The end.
Did they die? It was so vague.
I don't think that they did die because he didn't knock them off the building. He kicked them and they tumbled down the stairs. Could be paralyzed for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, they definitely suffered a lot of injuries.
They gotta be in pretty good shape. I would assume since
Yeah.
they're acrobats, just like Robin, they can take a beating because they're like real muscular,
Yeah.
you know? So
And they probably know
Gotcha.
how to fall correctly, like wrestlers.
yeah, probably.
Yeah.
They might be okay. I guess we'll see if the Three Devils return.
I don't know. I've never seen these guys before.
I don't think they're gonna come back.
No.
No.
But you know who they remind me of?
Who?
Daredevil.
Well, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean,
this is like decades, well, like 2-3 decades before Daredevil comes out. Like,
mhm.
it's just like guys in tight spandex that look like devils
Yep,
and they're acrobats.
that's right.
Well,
I really like the costume acrobats dressed as devils for villains. I thought that was cool.
yeah.
It was probably really original at the time, not so much by today's standards after reading a ton of comics and Daredevil being a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what really bothered me was that they didn't address the fact that Dick used to be an acrobat.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, you're not going to be like, oh, acrobat's cool, and then like try to talk to them, and then
Like this is
anything.
this is Detective Comics.
Yeah.
There could have been a thing where they're like, I mean, they started this in Medea Res, so like they're already seeing the devils, but they could have done a thing where they're looking at a crime scene and then Robin sees something like, this is something that acrobats use.
right.
Yeah.
Or like the first scene where they jump off the roof, and then the one that takes like 2 pages to show them escaping, where they're like swinging from each other, like all three of them, like they're very clearly exactly like the Flying Graysons.
Yeah.
Robin wouldn't see that and be like, whoa, they're acrobats.
You know, if they were to bring these guys back
Yeah.
for like a more modern comic, Like, they could totally do something where, like, Robin knows these guys, like, they're
Like,
we don't get their backstories or anything, so they could rewrite them to be tied into the Flying Graysons. Maybe, like, the ringleader was, like, Dick's, like, his dad's, like, best friend or something.
or maybe like they were the original acrobats that worked for Haley Circus,
Yeah.
and they got fired and
Yeah.
replaced with the Flying Graysons because they were problematic and they were stealing stealing things from people.
That would work too, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
There's a lot of potential.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Um,
They also kinda reminded me of the Madniks. They're a Blue Beetle, like, villain set.
yeah,
Those, like, 1940s hippies.
I can see that too. All right, let's get into these panels. I feel like there's not a lot of stuff to talk about with this one, but these panels give us a lot to describe. There's a lot of
Yeah.
cool panels in this issue.
Mhm.
You picked this one. I would have picked this one too for the same reason that you did, and another reason as well. The scene that I was talking about, like where they're escaping from the beginning, and the first panel is like one of them like doing
Oh,
a
yeah.
flip.
I scrolled too long, and I'm like, "I didn't pick
Yeah.
that one."
So it's
Yeah.
like it's the three devils escaping from the rooftop when being pursued by Batman and Robin, and they're doing acrobatic maneuvers like they're spinning around flagpoles and the fire escape ladders and catching each other and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's just really cool looking. But you caught that in the first panel, they're reusing a Batman pose,
Mhm.
and it's the pose that he's striking like when he breaks that guy's neck from the window.
Yeah.
So and they reused that pose a couple times before,
Mhm.
but I think this is the first time they reused it for someone that's not Batman.
Yeah. It kind of implies that, like, acrobatic-wise and stuff, like, they're kinda on Batman's level.
Yeah.
Probably not as fighting, like, but, the three of them, they could definitely outmaneuver Batman and do some trickety stuff.
Seems like it. I don't think they could outmaneuver Robin. I think Robin's capable of all that, but
Yeah.
yeah, definitely
They would probably underestimate Robin.
definitely.
Well,
Or maybe not. Maybe that's why that one devil has like a vendetta against him.
Mm.
Tries to kill him at least
Yep.
twice. So, but also I've read Daredevil's origin and Spider-Man's origins in like the first year or so of each of their comics many times. And these scenes like where the acrobats are like flipping. Yeah, it's supposed to be three acrobats like catching each other, but they look so similar to like the panels in Daredevil and Spider-Man where it's showing them like jumping from one building to another doing a
Mm.
series of maneuvers, and it's supposed to be almost like a time lapse.
yeah, you see, like, the progression of it?
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
wonder if like they kind of got that from here.
Maybe.
Like it's possible
Yeah.
because Stan Lee is a Batman fan. Everybody's a Batman.
Yeah,
fan.
they all I mean, they all read these.
Yeah.
I mean, plus it's a competition, so,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they're aware. But, I mean, it's a pretty obscure, like,
It is an obscure.
yeah, I've
story.
never even heard a whiff of these guys before.
But if these guys really are one of the many inspirations for Daredevil, then that would explain it.
Yeah.
Like if they were flipping through an old Batman comic and then saw these guys and they were like, oh, we should make a
Yeah.
devil hero.
Cover his face.
Yeah, exactly. The costume is so similar. Like
Yeah.
he just literally turned the belt red and covered his face. But I guess also Daredevil was yellow
He was yellow, yeah.
for a little while. And
Maybe that's why he was yellow.
they didn't want to get sued.
I doubt they would've got sued, but they're like, let's just make it not that obvious." And then Frank Miller comes along. He's the one who made him red, right?
No, they made him red before that.
Oh.
He wasn't yellow for very long.
Well,
He
at one
had-
point they were like, "Yeah, okay, let's just skip the pretense and make him red."
I mean, he looks so much better in the full body red suit.
Yeah.
I love the yellow suit. Don't get me wrong, but all right. Next panels, I picked these next three. So this first one is just I just had to pick it because it's like an iconic looking Batman pose.
Yeah.
They've reused this exact same scene so many times where there's someone in the foreground, you just see like their upper part of their body, and Batman and Robin in the background, kind of slightly hiding behind a wall, and the moon has cast Batman's shadow on the bricks, and it's doing that whole like Frank Miller negative space thing. But Batman looks particularly like beefy and just like intimidating in this picture, and like his chin is like way more square. I don't know, I just really like the way it's drawn, and then also like the box, like what it says on top up here. It says, "Nightfall. The moon is like an unwinking eye as it looks down at the two mantled figures who slink silently into the shadows across the gray city streets." It's good stuff.
Robin kind of looks like he's like, "Stop being so dramatic, Batman."
This like I imagine that the stuff that you see here is like the stuff that's going through Batman's head.
Yeah.
Like it's what he's thinking. Like, yeah. And then the next panel, I just thought it was hilarious. Like this is what I'm talking about. Like the slapstick fight
Mhm.
scenes here. You've got a guy in the foreground who's like, "Ugh," and his like eyes are going all wonky, and his tongue's like sticking out of his mouth, and he's holding his head, and he's got this giant goose egg on his head. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
And then Batman is like swinging from this lamp and kicking one guy into another guy who then runs and slams into another guy who slams into a window. It's just like a chain reaction of guys falling into guys.
Yeah.
So good.
I love he's like swinging on a giant a lamp.
Yeah. The musculature is done so much better in this issue than it has been done before too. Like with Batman, I even noticed that like scenes where he's just like standing, he looks kind of muscular. But scenes where he's doing action shots like punching or swinging, he looks like he's flexing. Like they're actually drawing the muscles like flexing.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was really interesting. It's good attention to detail. And then the third part is just, it's hilarious. How can you not laugh at this?
Mhm.
The dude comes running into the room right out of the door, just jumps headfirst at Batman, and Batman ducks, and the guy slams headfirst into a wall.
Yeah, that had to have broken his neck.
Oh, it's so good though.
Oof.
You picked this one. I would have picked this one too. Though.
I had a feeling we both would have picked this one.
Yeah.
It's when Robin throws the book at the guy, and the book is red and it says "Crime does not pay"
Why would he even own that book?
by.
It looks like it's Robin Robinson.
Oh no, it says Robinson and Russos.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's even better.
Yep.
I was trying to figure out what that said, but it's really blurry.
Yeah, I blew it up in my copy, and it definitely
That's great.
it says Robinson and Robinson Russos. So, yeah.
And then I love what he's saying too.
I don't know how this book got mixed up in your place, but it's a cinch you never read it.
Yeah.
Weird phrasing.
And then the guy's like, oh,
Yeah.
book hits him, bonk. Total comedy.
Yeah, he's definitely not a fighter either. So just like, it's not cruel because he's definitely he deserved it, but it's like, yeah,
Yep. I like these panels. I would have picked everything you picked in this one.
Yeah,
Too. Like
yeah.
it's all so good.
yeah.
You got that 3-part panel with the cop who walks in on Batman as he's getting up off the floor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the cop, he's holding a gun to Batman, but he's like starstruck.
He's like holding his lip like he's a baby.
Yeah, like it's a very like he's like a giant baby holding a gun. It's funny.
It's basically what he is.
Yeah.
And the way he talks, he's like,
Yeah.
he calls himself me.
He's ye know. Yeah.
You know, I kind of read it,
I
his
think-
dialogue as if he was Chief O'Hara.
Yeah, they're definitely going for the stereotypical Irish officer.
You kind of like the bumbling idiot officer.
He's like basically starstruck seeing Batman, and he's like, well, you know, you gotta hit me. So that way you can like, I'll let you go, but you gotta hit me, make it look good. And then Batman is just happy to sock him.
This also very much reminded me of the Adam West TV show, like where the cop's like, hey, you know, I'll let you get away with it, but you got to punch me in the face, so it looks like I'm doing my job. And then Batman's like, say, you're okay. Whack! And just hits him in the
Yeah.
face immediately. Like,
Yeah, like we can see like this is a transition period because up until now or even, you know, prior issues, every time the cops see Batman, you know, they instantly draw their guns, they're shooting, they're trying
Yep.
to capture him. I mean, just a few issues ago, McGonagall was making it his life's work to capture Batman before he just disappeared. And now we got one who's got Batman dead to rights. And he's just like, yeah, just hit me so I can
Yep.
tell about how awesome this is.
And then I like how in the last panel, it says that it looks like he's grinning.
Yeah.
Like he got punched in the face while he's smiling and he get passed
Yeah.
out with a grin on his face.
And like the one that's saying it's Riley, he's unconscious. He totally knows what went down.
Yeah. It's like, not again.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, I was thinking you could actually write that Batman McGonagall comic still, and then it could end with his demise. Or maybe not his demise, but like his retirement or him being like locked up in a lair by a villain or something like that.
Something like that.
There's got to be a good way.
Something that Riley gets up to
McGonagall
search.
is funny. He deserves a good ending instead
Yeah.
of just disappearing.
Nope.
Yeah. And then I love this panel too.
Yeah, I had a feeling we both picked this one.
I looked at this panel in the scans, and it looks almost exactly the same, except the sky is green and the moon is
Huh.
yellow. So it's still an amazing panel. I don't know what I like more though, the yellow on yellow or the green on yellow.
The yellow on yellow kind of implies that it's like a new day, you know, the morning, just, you know,
Yeah.
it's dawn.
The green's a little more eerie.
Mm.
It's definitely cool though.
I have to see the green, but I like the yellow.
Yeah, it's actually really well done. Like, again, like, you know, I don't want to accuse Bob Kane of not being the artist behind all these, but there's such a huge improvement in art in
Mhm.
every aspect of the artwork from the beginning
Yeah.
comics where he for sure was drawing them to now. Like the musculature, the proportions, the framing of the scenes, the details, like everything. Like, look at the perspective of the rooftop. Like, you can tell that it's at an angle. You can see the corner of another rooftop that's like adjacent to it, and the chimney, the scale of the chimney in the background, and the scale of Batman to Rob, like everything about it's awesome.
Well, they've been at it for like, I don't know, 2, close to 3 years at this point. So I think he's also improving himself. Like,
I mean, I did read that even the ones that he drew completely, I think it was Bill Finger, who would like storyboard them almost.
Mm.
Like he would describe each panel. And that's like how Marvel used to do it too. Like the
Yeah.
writer would not just like write what happens. He would be like panel 1 and this is what's happening. Panel 2, this is what's happening.
That's what Harvey Picard did for American Splendor.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then also he would give him reference photos. So like this right here, this shot, he probably gave him a reference photo of a building at that angle and was like, they're going to stand here. So it makes the artist job a lot easier or harder depending on what type of artist you are. But
No.
I think probably easier for Bob Kane. Takes a lot of the guesswork out of it.
Any final thoughts on this one?
I thought this one was great.
Yeah, it's a fun story too.
They're both just fun stories though.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like,
This was a good good week for Batman.
yeah, you know, both stories featured like a big boss type character who had like a gang of lackeys.
Mm-hmm.
And Batman had to take down their gang of lackeys and then take down their boss. So they're similar. It's weird, like since we've been doing this and going back and forth between Batman and Detective, there have been a couple weeks where the stories kind of shared a theme or were very similar in the way that they were presented.
Yeah, and like we're still slightly out of sync, so it's not like they were trying to go for that, I don't think. But
No, but it's interesting how
Yeah.
that looks like that. All right, you want to talk about next week's episode?
yes, next week we are doing Batman number 4, story number 3, Public Enemy number 1 starts jail sentence.
What a mouthful.
That is, I think the title of it is like, I think it's meant to be read like a newspaper headline.
Oh, that makes sense because
Yeah.
that is exactly how it sounds.
And then Detective Comics number 51, The Case of the Mystery Carnival.
I'm excited for that one.
Yes. Do you think a certain clown will show up in that one?
I really hope that anytime Carnival is brought up or like clown or anything like that, that we see the Joker. But, you know, could be wrong.
It'd be surprising if they did one that features clowns and all that, and Batman's like, "Where's Joker?" and he just never shows up.
Yep.
Yeah.
They could do that though. They could mess with the readers. They could have an entire issue that takes place at a carnival with clowns and the Joker's not in it. And then the next issue could be called like The Case of the Flaming Inferno. And then boom, the Joker's in it out of nowhere.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So before we sign off, just want to say thanks for listening. We have it's already up, the Bat Chat, where we kind of talk about like a general overview of the movies.
Mm-hmm.
And then by the time this episode goes up, we should have our Batman the Animated Series episode. We're going to talk about our top 3 favorite episodes of Batman the Animated Series. Just kind of general overview, same thing, but yeah.
Should be fun. I'm excited about it. And you get to meet another one of our friends, Justin.
Yeah.
So,
So stay tuned for that, and thank you for listening.
and please, if you feel so inclined, chat with us on Twitter.
Yes.
That would be awesome to actually interact with some people.
At Become a Bat Pod. Well, I am Tom,
And I'm Mike.
and this has Become a Bat.
Bye.